Mrs. Anne Kirkman has been a voluntary social worker all her life and today campaigns for a more generous old age policy. An old age pensioner herself, she feels strongly that old people have as much right as others to fight for better conditions. Yet we seem to expect the old to put up with their lot and give up the struggle. She travels to London from Lancashire to meet other representatives of the National Federation of Old Age Pensioners.
I've just been saying if I'd have come on the 10 o'clock and I couldn't let you know this, I could have saved £5.
In this country, we seem to treat our old people not as fellow beings, but as a different species altogether. Perhaps because we don't want to be reminded that we ourselves will one day be old. So although it's in the interests of all of us, only a few actively support their cause. There were no banners, brass bands or columns of marchers to support Mrs. Kirkman and her friends when they went to the Treasury to lobby for higher pensions. The old, from all sections of society, live all round us, in the same streets and in similar houses, though too often in wretched discomfort, ill health and sometimes scandalous poverty. Retirement takes them from their working environment, their place in society, and forces them to change their pattern of living. Not only do they have less money, but also they feel a loss of identity. The greatest fortune, even greater than health, for an old person is to feel that his life is still justified, busy and useful. But it's only the exceptional who are able to go on pursuing ends which give a sense of meaning to their lives. Len Fairclough has always led a committed life, and at 67 is still active in community work for the blind and road safety, in spite of being handicapped by an accident he suffered at work. He's the chairman of the Chorley branch of the National Federation of Old Age Pensioners. He and his wife Lucy live on £13 a week from their combined old age pensions and his works pension, their final reward for spending their working lives from the age of 12 in the cotton mills. Mrs. Fairclough has had to budget carefully all her life. And I see you eat margarine.
Yes. Well, I can't afford butter really, and this margarine's very good and it's the cheapest, so I think that is why I buy it.
What was the last time you gave yourself a special treat, and what did you buy?
Oh, well, they had a special offer of lemon barley water, and I bought one of those, and I like it very much, yeah. So.
Most of us are able to take for granted things like lampshades, stair carpets, an indoor lavatory and bathroom, but to the Faircloughs, they're luxuries they can't afford. They were only able to buy their house because of the compensation money he was paid after his accident. But a happy marriage and loving children and grandchildren, all living nearby, make them value life deeply. But it's still far from easy to manage on £13 a week.
Well, you don't get the necessities as you should have on £13 a week. Not what you'd like. Some as you have to make your clothes last longer, and everything's rising cost of living. You're like it's 81 pence per bag at present. And now when the coal strike's settled, we're going to have to pay more. It'll be another shilling a bag coal. Well, to have the warmth as you need when you're getting older, and to stop us for finishing up with that hypothermia, which a lot of them are suffering from through lack of warmth. And if we could have the extra to pay for the heat, there wouldn't be as much. There won't be as many people dying from the hypothermia.
You said the clothes, but you look very well dressed to me,
yeah,
Mr.
but
Fairclough.
this suit, I don't know whether I've had it 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And through my brothers and relatives, as their brothers as have died, and they've been same size as me. They've given me their suits, you see. Well, I've made do with them and kept this like as a best, you see. And like I've been thankful of them, but...
And his shirt was a Christmas present. And
this shirt is a bomber Christmas present. He put time on to.
Mrs. Fairclough, do you find it difficult managing on £13 a week?
Well, I do, because you can't have things as you want. You look at clothes and you want clothes, you know, because it's not just your top clothes, there's underclothes and everything as is. And I find them a lot more expensive than what they used to be. So I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's near enough.
When were you last able to afford to buy new underclothes?
Well, I'm not saying I really can't afford them, but I mean, so you have to make when you do buy them, you have to make them last a long time. You see, and I'm just getting ready for a lot more now, so.
But when did you last able to buy some?
Well, I bet it's 2 years or 3 years since. Yeah.
If you had another, say, £5 a week, or even another £2 a week, what extras would you like?
Well, I should try and put as much away as I could of that £2 to have a really good holiday or buy some clothes. You know, buy some nice clothes, really.
And what clothes do you need most badly?
Well, I want a new coat and perhaps some new boots. I've never bought any fashionable boots, you know. And
Mrs. Fairclough, you don't have any bathroom in this house. Isn't that going to get a bit difficult as you grow older?
Well, it is difficult. You feel like you'd like to have a bathroom, but we can't afford one. And we have a daughter and a son that has bathrooms, and we go there, but it's not always convenient. But I wish we had somewhere. If it were only a wash basin upstairs in the back bedroom would be better, because we have to wash us and everything at the sink, you know.
You also have an outside lavatory. Isn't this going to be difficult for you?
Well, it is at times, and especially like inclement weather, you know. Well, if it's heavy rain, you have to have protective clothing to go to the toilet, or else you're wet through. We're lucky that some of us twice as far to walk.
Couldn't you get a grant as older people to be able to put these facilities into the house?
Well, you see, with only being 2 bedrooms, it would mean we'd have to have an extension, which I don't know whether the council would agree, like to plans being passed, like for property at the age of this property, you see.
Mr. Fairclough, do you think we do enough for old people?
Well, I think the government could do more. And in many ways, I think if they gave us a pension, as we could have a proper standard of living, we wouldn't need to ask for concessions, or some people think it's charity when you're asking for concessions. And some pensioners, well, they don't like asking for them. And if they give us a proper pension, and we could pay our own dues and demands, same as other people, it would be a lot better world to live in.
Does it worry you if you feel you are getting something as charity?
Well, you don't feel the same. If it's given to you through the government, you think you've been entitled to it. When you've worked, same as we have, from being 12 years of age up to being 65, and you've paid your national health contributions all the time, I think you're entitled to a decent pension.
Mrs. Fairclough, you know, neither you nor your husband have had an easy life.
No.
Do you sometimes envy your children their standard of living?
No, I don't envy them, because what we've worked for, to give them a good start in life, I always said, well, I hope I never see them go through what we've gone through. And no, I don't envy them. I don't envy any of the young ones to this day. And I think young ones are doing a good. And I only think sometimes these children as don't look after their parents, in some cases it's ways they've been brought up, see, to look after their parents. So, no, I don't envy them.
Every week, Mrs. Margaret Mims visits her local post office to collect her pension and supplementary benefits, which amount to £10.25. She's better off than many of her age group, because she also has a small annuity, which brings her in another £2 a week. She's 82 now, has been a widow for 36 years, with no close relatives.
Would you like 2 5 notes? No, one 5.
Thank you.
It's 25. 5, 6, 7. Thank you.
During the war, she worked with displaced people, and after the war earned her living on the continent as a translator and an English teacher. Today she leads a solitary life, but she gives the impression that she's at peace with herself and seems to look upon old age as a stage of life, different from youth and middle age, but nevertheless a period that has a value of its own. She lives in a basement in Peckham Rye. Her interests have always been many-sided, and age has not dampened her curiosity. She's an avid listener to news programmes and plays on the radio.
I'm having the time of my life, what with the bingo, the old time dancing. I feel I'm really living. Why don't you try it?
A much-travelled lady, she was born in County Cork, Ireland, where her father, a large landowner, was known as the Sovereign of Kinfale. She was educated by governesses and tutors in Ireland and Italy. But today her greatest luxury is the telephone, her lifeline to the outside world. She doesn't pine for the life she once knew, but does find her basement damp and cold.
I just get into bed. In the afternoons it's terrible sometimes. So I just put everything on I can think of and get into bed and listen in.
Now, you have about £12 a week to live on.
Yes, to work it out, as you say, I find it very difficult. I go to the bank, to the post office to draw this money, and then I go down to the bank and pay into my banking account £5 out of the 10, because towards the rent. Because the rent comes round, is £17.50 once a month. Having done that, I spend the rest just as I feel, until I have to save up for something like electric light, and there's telephone I have to pay. Well, I have to squeeze that out somehow, and I really couldn't tell you how. But what with getting my my installments of the annuity, you see that I put aside and hope for the best. But if I had to get through on my supplementary pension, God knows what would happen. It would be terrific.
How much a week do you think you need to live reasonably?
Could one possibly say that? I don't know. I think you should have £2 a day, don't you? Because everything is so expensive. I mean, I can never buy a new carpet, which is, you can see, is very necessary, and curtains or even bed linen. I could never buy anything like that, and certainly not clothes, except this one occasion where I happened to have a present from a friend.
What are the other things that you have to do without?
Travelling. I would like to go around more, but it would have to be in. I couldn't walk. I'm not very good on my feet. And I get very breathless, of course, you know, I'm rather hearty. And I would have to go around more in some kind of conveyance. If it's only a hired car. Even the buses are terribly tiring.
Do you hope to live to be 100?
Yes, definitely. Not exactly a hope, but an intention. I don't see that there's much fun in living unless you feel absolutely fit. I do feel remarkably fit as a rule, but of course there are moments when I think to myself, I don't know whether it's really worthwhile thinking of living to 100.
What are the things that make you feel that it's not worthwhile carrying on?
Simply, I think probably the idea of being a nuisance to other people, you know, or because the mere fact that you got to go to a hospital or something, or more ghastly still, into a home. I want to stick it out here by myself as long as I can. And while I'm able to do that, but when the moments come and I think, I don't know whether I can quite carry on, then those are the moments when I'm not so keen on living to be 100. Otherwise, I should like it, as long as nobody else objects to my being here. Sometimes I think people rather resent old people.
What gives you that impression?
Well, it's the way people treat other old people. Personally, I never feel old, you know, that's a strange thing. I have to think twice to make sure that I really am 82. It seems a ridiculous age to be, because I don't feel as old as that in myself. But I know what other people like to sometimes rub your nose in it, you know. And then I feel, yes, I see, it's time I went. It does come over me.
How do people rub your nose in it?
It sounds rather rude, doesn't it? Well, I mean, the fact that you are no longer young is constantly being thrown at you by people. They can't help it.
Do you think people as a whole treat people of your age differently? Do you think they treat people of your age properly?
No, they do not. In this country, they treat you as though you were of another species, completely a group apart, which you've always been this age. I haven't always been 82. And so my answer to these kind of people is, I'm one day older than I was yesterday. Or else, an alternatively, I said, but I am proud of my age. I'm doing well on it.
Herbie Murphy is not proud of his age. He's 67, a man who likes crowds and knows that at least he'll always find them in his local pub. But Herbie isn't any more the centre of attention as he used to be in his younger days, when he cracked gags, played the banjo, and tap-danced his way through clubs all over the world. It's 11 years since anyone offered him a job in show business. Now he nurses his half-pint of Guinness and economically tries to make it last from opening to closing time. He lives 56 steps up in a top-floor bed sit in London's Notting Hill. He has 2 sons, but they're in America, and it's 36 years since he saw them. Like many people who spent their working lives as wandering freelancers rather than in regular 9-to-5 jobs, when he reached retirement age, his insurance stamps weren't fully paid. So his weekly old age pension is £3.30. But the state also pays him supplementary benefits, bringing his weekly income to £8.30 for rent, heat, food, clothes, entertainment, everything. He's a small electric fire, but also has to light the gas stove to keep warm. And when the money runs out, he must go to bed beneath piles of hand-me-down coats.
Cook myself, yes. But what is my food? half a pound of sausages, and there's less than half a pound, quarter pound, that's 4. I've had 4 yesterday, and an egg. Today will be 4 and an egg, and half a can of peas. Then I fry a potato, like chips. In the morning I have tea, bread and butter, and that's my full meal. It costs me nearly 10 shillings when I go out to have a meal in the cafe.
When was the last time you went out to have a meal in a cafe?
I think about a year ago.
Now you're living on £8 something.
£8.30, existing on it.
Do you think that's a reasonable amount to live on? What do you think?
It is not. It is not. I'm going without quite a lot of things. I'm losing a lot of happiness. I'd love to go and see a West End show. But where am I going to get even 10 shilling for the cheapest seat in the West End? Than my fare there and back. What would please me more than be able to get into an underground or so, go and see a beautiful West End show, have a lovely bite to eat in a decent cafe, come home. Can I do that on £8.30? When living on less than £1 a day. That's £8.30, £2 up for the rent, first of all. That leaves me £6.30. There's 7 days in the week. So that's less than £1 a day.
What would you consider a reasonable amount to live on?
About 12. About 12. Then I wouldn't be under any obligation of accepting that's given to me, that's given to me, that's given to me. Socks, I got about 4 pair with holes in. The shirts, the underwear, I got that from hospital when I was in hospital, from the welfare people.
Do you feel it's undignified wearing other people's clothes?
I do. But they all realise, well, poor old Herbie, that's the reputation I've got now. Poor old Herbie, he's not working. He's getting old. So they put little things my way.
Do you mind people saying poor old Herbie?
No. No, we all get old. Their day will come.
Most of the old people who come to the Field Lane Centre, Islington, London, live alone, and it's only at the club that they have any social contact. Here they can play cards, join in a sing-song, have a meal, talk, or just doze in a reasonable degree of comfort. Nearly all have to exist on a wretched pittance. Few have any money but their old age pension and any supplementary benefits for which they're eligible. What would you do if you had, say, £1 a week extra?
Well, you go mad.
What would you go mad on?
Well, food and that, like that, that's all.
How long since you actually had something that was new?
Well, I don't know.
Your mother's funeral?
Well, I bought a new hat for my mother's funeral.
When was that?
Oh, that was 1963, and I've worn one since.
Do you find it difficult to live on your pension?
I should say I do. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. Well, I mean, to say, there's a lot of luxuries we have to do without, because your income isn't enough. It isn't enough. If we had a few shillings more, it would be a great help, but still.
What sort of things would you buy with those few shillings?
What would I buy? Well, I would buy myself some eggs and a nice bit of bacon so that I could have eggs and bacon for me breakfast for a change.
When was the last time you had eggs and bacon? How long since you had eggs and bacon?
Bacon?
When did you last have eggs and bacon for breakfast?
I couldn't tell you, lady. I couldn't tell you.
Was it a long time ago?
A long time ago.
If you could treat yourself to anything, what would you go out and buy?
Well, I'll go and buy something for the wife first, whether she fancies, and I'd have the other, if there was any left.
And what would you buy for your wife?
Or a bit of chocolate, something like that, because it lasts, he enjoys chocolate.
What are the things that you'd like to have that you can't afford?
Or to go out
Where would you go?
in the country somewhere, or abroad. Not abroad, no fear. Go abroad.
How long since you were in the country?
Since 1968, when I met the accident. But then I was on the old pensions holiday. I've got the letter for it now, but they want 6 guineas.
6 guineas to go where?
Oh, where was it? St Michael's, Clacton.
Lady, there's 50 families live there. And there's not one will come and knock at your door and turn around and say, Johnny, how are you?
What do you do when you leave here? What will you do tonight?
I go home. Sometimes I look at the telly, but since my eyes have been bad, I haven't been able to do that. So I just sit there till I get the up so much I go to bed.
You don't like being old?
Oh no, there's no fun in it, is there? If you go anywhere, the first thing you do, you get your backside in the chair and you want to go to sleep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, darling, for talking to me. It's quite a treat to speak to somebody now and again, you know.
The old have little economic strength, few ways of bringing pressure on the government for a more generous old age policy. Anne Kirkman's generation built our welfare state. Yet now we seem to refuse them their fair share of its prosperity. Never listen to their voices.
How did it go? Was it a successful visit? Usual, I think. Usual, I think. No promises.
No promises.
They never give you anything. They never tell you anything. Only he's been very fair and he was very nice and he took our points as we made them and they're going to consider them.